Welcome back, guys, to
Hi.
episode 22 of The Why of It All. We are so happy to have everybody here listening. And today's episode is about something interesting that just came up organically with
Yeah.
us. It's about the backslide.
Oh, the backslide.
The
The
backslide.
dreaded healing backslide.
Mhm. But we're going to talk about how it's not all that bad, right? And that we can recognize the backslide in your healing journey and kind of move through it.
And
So-
sometimes it's not a backslide at all.
Correct. As we're gonna go into in today's episode. So, you ever find yourself thinking, I was doing so well. Like, what happened? In this episode, we're diving into the oh so human experience of the backslide. Those moments when healing feels like it's unraveling, but it's actually inviting you into deeper integration. From shame spirals to growth spirals, we unpack how to recognize a setback without judgment and how to gently rebuild without perfectionism. So this is where we're going today. And this, I think it's important because if you listen to episode 21,
Mm-hmm.
that's how the whole backslide thing, that's how the concept was, that's how we came up with the concept.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They happen, guys. It
They
happens
do.
to all of us.
we do.
We all know healing is not linear. We've all said that 1,000 times. Everybody's heard it 1,000 times. But oftentimes it's one way you can think about it is as a spiral, right? I used to think of healing as more of like an undulation, like an up, down, up, down, up, down in the same plane thing. And hopefully it's looking like this, down and then you up a little more and then down and up a little more.
But
And you're
still in
making a
ascension?
constant trajectory.
Still in ascension.
Right. But recently I heard about the growth spiral, which is a little bit of a different imagery. And instead you think of it like a spiral staircase where you're moving upward, for example, and you will hit the same spot but from a higher vantage point. And so you're revisiting those same old wounds with new perspective each time and sort of expanding and evolving and growing in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always thought of it, we talked about this yesterday, I always thought about the staircase. But I'm starting to, the spiral. is
You're warming
starting
up to the spiral.
I'm warming up to the spiral, Melanie. I think you might have taken me over to the dark side because when
Yeah.
I think of growth or the healing journey, I think of going 3 steps up and then maybe 2 steps back and then maybe 5 steps up, but then 2 steps down. And then, so it's like, right?
So it's the idea that you're losing ground and you have to regain the same ground that you lost. But what we're talking about with the growth spiral is that it's not actually lost ground. It's an opportunity to revisit an old wound from a different vantage point.
I love this spin.
Right.
This is juicy.
Right. So you think like, ugh, I already healed this. Like, why am I back here
Yeah.
again?
Yeah,
But you're not back at square one. You're seeing the issue through wider, more conscious eyes.
for sure.
Right.
Yep.
So maybe you're still getting triggered, but now you notice it faster. You recover quicker. You understand it more deeply. That's progress.
For sure.
Even if it's the same painful wound being triggered again, right? This integration, the way that we integrate our growth and move through things happens in layers. That's another analogy everybody talks about, the onion peeling off a new layer, right? Healing isn't about solving problems or solving something once and never feeling it again, which I think is what a lot of people think it is. It's like, if I just heal this, I'll never, ever, ever feel it again. It's about peeling back the layers. The emotional growth unfolds in stages. This I thought was interesting that we pulled up earlier. The stages: survival, followed by awareness, followed by regulation, followed by transformation, followed by mastery.
That's
Oh,
good.
it's juicy.
That is so juicy. I know people don't like that word or yummy or juicy when we're talking about
I
stuff
love it.
like this, but it really
Yeah.
is. That is the sequential order.
Yeah.
And just my own experiences.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
You survived it. Then you're aware of it, right? You're self-aware, but you have to get that self-awareness first, and then you start to regulate, right?
Yeah.
And then the transformation happens, like the lotus flower, our little insignia on all of our stuff. It does mean something to us. And then the mastery, being the master of your own emotions and of your own progression.
And
I
how
guess.
does anyone master anything throughout all of human history? It's repeat, 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 repeat. Is it
Correct.
any wonder that our soul and the way that we evolve into the greatest versions of ourselves would be any different? Of course
So true.
not. Oh, I love that.
I love that too.
Isn't that so much like giving permission for revisiting the wounds, even though it sucks when you're in it and you're like, why am I here? I thought I already got this. I thought I already handled this. It's giving, it takes the guilt out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, but also too, like you said, it's the new perspective with the new lens, now through the work, right? Through the work that we've both been doing, that you guys are doing. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So it's like you're building an emotional muscle. Each loop through that spiral staircase, that growth spiral, strengthens your capacity to stay present, grounded, and self-compassionate. Oh, that's good. Self-compassionate in the face of the discomfort.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. They're not failures. The pauses, the dips, the resistance, even the breakdowns. What if instead of the shame that we tend to apply to ourselves when we think we've had a backslide, what if they weren't actually failures? What if they're part of the journey offering a new opportunity for growth?
And that's how I choose to look at it. That's how we both choose to look at it, right? You know, how do you know you're in a growth spiral and not just stuck, you know? Maybe you're aware of what's happening, even if it's hard. So you've got that awareness that we just talked about. Your self-talk is more compassionate than it used to be. So you might get stuck in a situation, but instead of saying, you stupid, or that's dumb, or, you know, you're starting to talk to yourself with more compassion. You're learning, you know, this is a learning process. This is a lesson. Look at it as such. You're reaching for tools instead of spiraling blindly. So you're going to your meditation, you're going to your journal, you're going to your maybe safe, trusted person that you can talk to and vent about this stuff, which we do all the time. Yeah. And you can observe the pattern instead of becoming it. So
this is so huge.
That's a huge one, right? We had a good talk about that last night, about being the observer. And you had a big experience with that just recently.
Yeah. A friend of mine has a saying that understanding is greater than reacting. And that kind of that's what observing the pattern instead of becoming, it kind of reminds me of, like, when you're having an emotional experience, the lesser evolved way to process that is just letting the emotions run the show. You are neck deep in the emotion and you are letting the emotions generate your reactivity. But when you can get to the point where you can be in an experience and maybe the emotions are occurring, but you also have this sort of extra vantage point where you are also observing yourself going through the process and with intentionality, recognizing where you're at, recognizing either your reactivity or your lack thereof. That, I think, is a big step that you are starting to be able to direct the experience and choose your response instead of reacting to it, that being in that observer role.
Yeah, because you can look at it again from a different lens and have a different perspective on it. Another one too is there's more peace, perspective, or surrender than the last time you faced this issue. I know in my experience with healing from a traumatic relationship, you know, anytime a trigger would come up, I had this experience personally where if something comes up and comes into my orbit, you know, being able to look at it in a more peaceful way and not such reactive way, and be able to say, okay, this is happening right now. Okay, what would the Gina a year ago have done? Maybe the Gina a year ago, and I will talk myself through this. Like, this is a conversation I'm having in my mind. What would Gina a year ago? Okay, what is the Gina now? How do I need to respond to this now that elevates me, that helps me to keep going forward in the direction I want to go? Because if I go back and I backslide and maybe I do things or invite things into my life that aren't healthy or that aren't good for me, you know, where's that going to take me? Am I going to still be on the ascension, on the growth spiral, or am I going to backslide? Really, am I going to backslide? And so I think there's so many opportunities that we get every day to make that choice, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to not take care of yourself? Are you going to, you know, forget about all the things that fill up your cup? Are you going to, you know, stop journaling and stop putting yourself first? Like, all those things kind of help with the growth spiral. But we all backslide. don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We all backslide.
Do you have an example of a backslide recently, or like if you have a backslide, what does that typically look like for you?
I wouldn't say I have had one recently, but I would say, months and months ago, a backslide would have maybe been a person reaching out and inviting me to be in my life again.
Somebody who you don't want to be in
somebody
your life
who
again.
do not want to be in my life, but having that trigger when that person has reached out, years ago would put me in a backslide because I would go back. I would go back because my brain was wired to going back equaled a dopamine hit. Going back equaled getting some attention, even if it was bad attention, and so that was the backslide for me for a long time in a relational kind of sense.
The comfort of familiarity.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's difficult and it's hard and it's hurtful and it's painful, it's still that there's a comfort in that, which is very wild. But once you go through it and you experience it, you understand it more. And so
we've talked about that in past episodes about how the brain basically associates safety with familiarity, even if what is familiar is actually unsafe.
Yes.
Like it prefers that over change that might be healthier.
Even though my nervous system would be wrecked every time I would go back, my nervous system would be completely out of whack, completely dysregulated, completely anxiety level 150. I still would backslide into those unhealthy situations when my logical mind was like, no, that's not good for you. That's not healthy for you. So
brains are weird.
Brains are weird, right?
And those neural pathways.
And
rewiring neural pathways is hard.
And rewiring takes a lot of work. It is
consistency.
It is very traumatic relationships or abusive relationships are really compared to that of like a drug addiction. Somebody that's addicted to heroin, somebody that's addicted to smoking, addicted to whatever. You get that dopamine hit, and we'll go into that in another episode. But and then also backsliding can be just something as falling off the journaling wagon, or falling off of the meditation wagon, or falling off the prayer wagon for me.
We talked about this a little last night.
We did. What does your backslide look like?
I have a recent backslide. I don't mind sharing.
Do share.
So in the last episode, I shared my story of the last few weeks volunteering out at the Sandy Creek flood disaster area here in Texas. And, during those 2 weeks, I was so focused on being there to support these people who needed it. I completely deprioritized my own well-being in all of that.
Good.
And the adrenaline of being there and having the experience and being productive and getting stuff done and the rewarding feeling of actually helping people who desperately needed it. Like I didn't even see it. I didn't even notice it while it was going on, but certainly within a couple of days, I was physically feeling the pain coming back. And by the end of that 2 weeks, I was a full-blown nervous system wreck.
You really were.
I took on so much. And then during the process, because I was just going all day, every day, and then I would collapse from exhaustion by the end of the day, I wasn't doing my self-care at all. I totally fell off the self-care wagon. I wasn't journaling. I wasn't doing my limbic rounds, my meditations at all. I wasn't going for walks. I was literally doing nothing to take care of myself.
And this is you just being completely vulnerable. Because we've had other episodes where we've started these morning routines and, you did good for like 60 days straight.
It was like, 61 or 62 straight days of morning routine, and I was doing great. And, I will say this, it was a little bit before doing the flood volunteer work that I started falling off the wagon, because
you noticed,
like I would sit down in the early morning hours to do my journal. That was my routine. Wake up early in the morning. First thing before I do anything else is drink my cup of coffee and write in my journal, and then go straight into my meditation. And I had been feeling so much better for such a long time that I kind of started getting loosey-goosey and a little bit lackadaisical about it. And I would sit down to write my journal entry, and I would just like stare at the blank page.
Oh yeah.
Because I couldn't think of anything to write. Like I I'd been gushing it all out for
Yeah.
2 months straight every single day. And I would sit there and like, I don't have anything to write. Like, I don't know, I'm doing good. Like, I could just write about how good everything is, but that's what I was doing for a really long time. And it got to the point where I just didn't have anything else to write. So I will say I did judge myself a little bit about it, but I also was just kind of like, I feel like this tool just isn't the tool for me right now anymore. Like,
And
it kind of feels like some old gum that I chewed all the flavor out of, and it's okay to let this go right now.
And when you said this last night, I had this like cathartic thought, because anytime I get off the journaling train or the meditation train or the prayer train, for me, I'm filled with this guilt of like, oh my God, I haven't journaled in 2 days. Oh my God, I haven't, meditated in a week. And I had this when I'm listening to her talk as we're, talking about this episode, and I'm like, oh, wow, maybe what she just said, maybe my inner guidance and my intuition is telling me I don't need to journal right now. Like, I feel like that, right? I feel like that was part of your intuition saying, it's okay why are you being so hard on yourself? Like, I know, I guess I just deal with the guilt of like not sticking with my routine and not being disciplined enough to, have the 4-day-a-week workouts and the morning journaling at 5:30, and I get hard on myself.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's about remembering that these are tools, and there's so many different tools.
Yeah.
And just like you don't always need a flathead screwdriver for the job. Sometimes you need a Phillips head screwdriver.
true.
They're both valuable tools, and you can pick each one of them up at any point that you need it and use it for the appropriate situation.
Yeah.
But you don't have it's not like you have to keep doing the same thing over and over again if it's lost the juice for you in that moment.
So I have a question that just came up in me, because, okay, I think about your husband. I think about how disciplined he is with his working out routine. He's like a triathlete, runner, ultra, whatever, biker. I mean, he's just super athletic. It's his modality, right? The main one. Does it speak anything to our like lack of discipline? Like, are you and I just don't have that gene, that discipline gene that can, I mean, when was the last time he didn't run in the morning? Honestly.
I couldn't even tell you.
That's what I'm telling you.
Except for his 1 day a week off that is a scheduled day of the week off.
So
Here's what I think.
What do you think?
I think people are wired differently.
Yeah.
He's a creature of habit.
But I am too.
He doesn't have a giant toolbox with a whole bunch of different tools in it. He's got one tool.
True.
And his tool is, I burn off my stress, my emotional tension, running. That's his tool. His stress is constant because of his job. Is a very demanding, high stress job. And he has one tool, and that tool, it's like a freaking Swiss Army knife. It handles the same one tool, burns off all the stress from all the different things.
I want one tool that burns off all the stress of all my, maybe I need to start running.
He's just built different. He's a creature of habit. I think people like us, we've collected all these different tools for doing our inner processing and moving through things over many, many years.
Yeah.
And I think it's perfectly fine if we have different tools that we pick up and put down,
as
needed.
Okay.
But I mean, for me, if I'm being perfectly honest, in these last few weeks, for me, it was a mixed bag of potentially the growth spiral, which I would say the feeling like I was going through all of this intensity with the volunteer work, and yet the next morning, I didn't pick up my journal to journal and help myself through that. That, to me, felt a little bit of like, in this particular circumstances, I've kind of outgrown the journaling right now. Doesn't mean that it won't come back at some point. That I'm cool with, and I don't have any guilt attached to it. But I will say that completely falling off the wagon and not doing any self-care at all, that shit caught up with me after 2 weeks.
That's not good.
And that is where I will say that it was an actual backslide. Yeah. So I think it's okay for me, and I'm not sitting here making myself feel bad about it. Like, there's no shame. I'm not like flagellating and I'm so horrible and terrible and why did I do that? It just is what it is. We're just observing.
We're
just
aware.
Observing, becoming aware of it and saying, okay, maybe I don't need to pick up that same tool again, but I do need to pick up some tools. I definitely do.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And, we just talked about this, but the common triggers that spark a backslide. Again, the stress. You were under a lot of stress these last couple of weeks with everything that you were giving of 150% of yourself every day.
Yeah.
And so, again, triggers illness, grief, disrupted routines, emotional overwhelm. Like I can resonate. I was so sick when I started my new job in the middle of May. I think I had COVID for like 2 weeks, and yeah, I wasn't journaling. I wasn't doing my normal. And so I guess there needs to be no shame associated. And I have a hard time with that. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah. And shame, unfortunately, that's sort of like the knee-jerk reaction, but shame is what's going to keep us stuck.
True.
Having compassion for yourself and what you're going through is what creates that freedom for just make a new choice now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's okay. We don't have to get down on ourselves about it. We can just have the awareness, be the observer, and go, oh, probably shouldn't have done zero self-care through that very, very intense situation.
Stressful.
And now I'm just going to make a new choice.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Melanie, have you ever judged yourself for going backward, only to realize you were actually healing something deeper? Oof.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I feel like I do that less now than I used to.
Me too.
But yeah, I mean, certainly back when I was really in intense pain last year, especially when I was like at the peak pain, I might try at the back then, I might have tried a new modality that got me to a certain point, and then I would either plateau or slide back in terms of physical pain. And then it was like full-blown shame judgment cycle at the time and jumping back into I'm broken.
Yeah.
I think
I've done that to myself.
we've all been there. What we're trying to do here is emphasize that it's not all feeling like you're backsliding isn't always a backslide.
And I can honestly say I have judged myself about a backslide only until very recently. Like I had a lot of judgment and just shame over when I would backslide, whatever the scenario may be. And I honestly think through our podcast, which is why we started it, the why of it all, I think through our podcast and through, just talking to some of our guests and just the additive effect of each episode, learning a little bit more about this process and us digging a little deeper and just trying to understand it all, I think has helped me get rid of that guilt and shame and get to a different place, which is so exciting to be where I'm at. And then to think that, oh, there's still more to go. Like it gets better than this. I think it will. I think it can.
Yeah.
At the Why of It All, we are passionate about healing mind, spirit, and body. And that's why we're proud to be sponsored by a brand whose passion for wellness runs as deep as ours, Epic Minerals. Epic Minerals is a family-owned American small business that offers premium, mineral-based wellness products thoughtfully formulated with therapeutic-grade ingredients designed to support detoxification, mineral replenishment, and boost vitality from the inside out. Their product line includes Zeolite Extra, a heavy metal detox spray with humic and fulvic acids, Wellness Extra capsules, a daily immune support with 72 essential trace minerals to boost energy and optimize cellular function, and Colloidal Silver Extra, a powerful natural antimicrobial spray to protect against harmful pathogens and boost immunity. And remember, when you shop small, every purchase supports a dream and makes a real difference in the lives of a real family. Head to epicminerals.net and use our exclusive code HEAL, that's HEAL, at checkout for 10% off your order.
And I think it's important to recognize too, when you're in a moment where you feel like you have backslid to some degree or another, the high level perspective on that is you're just being shown what it is within you that still needs some attention.
Yes.
Like there's still a wound there. It's better than it was before. I'm revisiting it from a new vantage point, but it's still there.
It's still there. And
that still needs some attention. It's just a deeper layer of it is being revealed.
I love that.
So and you can also think of it as an opportunity. We've talked about, like when we first started this show, what we were talking about is the healing journey from the perspective of every difficult situation, every trauma, every experience that we have that's unpleasant is an opportunity to grow. And we need to recognize our backslides the same way. It's an opportunity to revisit something within you that's still asking for attention and still asking for healing.
And it's okay to revisit that.
Totally okay. In fact, that's the point.
That is the point, to go back and to keep working on it, right?
And I will say for me, when I backslide, especially in this most recent scenario where it was very clearly the result of completely abandoning my self-care routine, it very much highlighted for me the importance of being consistent with myself, being consistent with prioritizing my own well-being. And that, I mean, I got 6 months into a profound healing experience where I felt better than I had felt in decades.
You did.
And I think maybe I took my foot off the gas a little too soon. Like, I was like, I feel great. I don't need to do all this stuff anymore.
I see.
Okay, well, maybe I took my foot off the gas too soon. Maybe I need to keep it going. Maybe I'll need to keep it going indefinitely. Maybe there are certain tools that I won't need anymore at some point, but you know, perhaps I need to be prioritizing my own well-being as a consistent part of life.
And you know,
not at the expense of but you know, making the time for myself.
And I think that the tools that I guess stick around longer to me are the tools that most resonate with you as a person. Like, I've been journaling since I was young, very young, from a very young age, in different phases of my life. And so that kind of tool has been with me for years, like years and years. And I may not journal for, 6 months. But I always come back to it. So it is something that I've always come back to for me in all of my trials, and even when I'm not having a trial, that is just something that's been super ultra therapeutic for me. Meditation, no, always. I didn't learn about meditation until I did my yoga teacher training, which was in 2019. So, that's only 6 years for me that I'm new on that track. But I think the things that you come back to over and over that feel right because there's some people, I have friends that have never journaled, and maybe they're not on their healing journey like us, but I'm just saying, like, I think your intuition will tell you what you need to be doing. And I just think that having this conversation and just having the realization last night when we talked, and talking about it today, about just like, well, maybe I don't, it's okay. Maybe that's not what I'm needing right now to fill my cup, But Melanie, how long has it been since you've been out of the flood relief? How many days now are you, like, haven't been out there, haven't been doing any on, 8 to 5 on there? How many days?
Today's day 6.
Okay, so almost a week.
Almost a week.
Okay.
And look, if I'm being perfectly honest, every single day for the last 6 days, I'm like, I need to get back into my routine, and then I don't.
Yeah.
I need to get back in my routine, and then I don't. And I'm currently chewing on, what is this resistance? Because I can come up with all kinds of excuses. Like, I fell because of being so outwardly focused during those 2 weeks. I way fell behind on my personal life. Like, all the stuff in my own life that needed to get handled. There's a backlog of stuff that needs to get handled. And we just adopted a brand new puppy.
Josie!
And this brand new puppy, Josie. Oh, maybe we'll post a picture of Josie online just for the cuteness factor.
We need to get a cute picture.
Oh, she's precious.
She's a good girl.
She's a very good girl. So, like, I've got all these distractions. I've got all these things that require my attention. And I keep waking up and being like, today's the day. I'm gonna do my limber ground. I'm gonna do my meditation. I'll get it done before the end of the day. And then I keep not doing it. And I have some questions that I need to ask myself about that. I'm not clear on what this resistance is.
Okay.
Maybe it's actual resistance, and I'll need to come to terms with that and address that within myself. Or maybe it's a pivot. I will say that since I did turn my attention back on my own life for the most part, we're still working with the fundraising and the donations for the flood, but I'm not out there with my physical effort every day.
Sure.
Maybe it's because since turning my attention back on my own life, the nervous system dysregulation and the physical pain that kicked back up at the end of that 2 weeks of burning myself out there, it's subsided dramatically.
Good. Yeah. Good.
So like, okay, is that an indication that I'm actually doing way better than I thought I was? Like maybe putting myself in a scenario to completely not just not do my self-care, but like be antithetical to my self-care, like foregoing my own well-being for the sake of everybody else. Maybe that was problematic for me. But as soon as I stopped doing that, it was a feeling of great relief. And maybe now is time for a pivot. Maybe I don't need to revisit the exact same self-care routine.
And maybe it's going to take a little time to figure out, what does that new routine look like for you?
That's exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
But I just had a thought when you were talking, because, you know, you had this, I mean, we can call it a meltdown. When you had a meltdown.
I hit my wall, and it was like 100 miles an hour into a brick wall.
Yeah. And like I said, and maybe we haven't touched on this, or maybe this is what you're meaning, but okay, you know, when like an emergency happens or a crisis happens, okay, like I had to do CPR on a guy like 7-8 years ago. I was working in a dental practice, and the guy next door went into cardiac arrest. And so me and my coworker had to go. And, you know, when you're there, you're doing the chest compressions, you're doing what you need to do. And then once all that adrenaline goes away, you're left with, I did not release. So I'm like pumping, EMS comes, get him on the actual, you know, the machine that pumps for them on the way to the hospital.
Defibrillator or something.
And it wasn't until like 30 minutes later where I just like lost it. I just like, I hope he's okay, you know? And so I wonder if that was just your body.
Stop being so brilliant, Gina. God.
Don't make me blush.
I think you're nailing it.
Don't you think?
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together on that until just now when you said that.
Literally, finally, when you stop being an overdrive, super supportive role, superhero role, super given 150%, once that, and you decided, thank God, I think you stopped at the right time, but once
probably stopped several days after the right time.
Probably, but once you did, it was like, finally the floodgates could like open, like everything that you'd been, just because you're task oriented, you're going out there, you're making a difference, you're boom, boom, boom. You didn't have time to process what you had just been through. You had just been through a very, you know, you, thank God your family was safe.
It wasn't my crisis, but I was like brick on the gas pedal for 2 straight weeks.
And I think it is very possible that when you had that meltdown, it was all you processing the last 2 weeks and finally having to be like,
It was a physical meltdown and an emotional one. And it was the day after I was done out there.
Your body was just like, that's it.
I think you're so right.
Isn't that right? Like, so maybe we need to not read into it and, you know, your pain's back. No. Your pain was there because you worked yourself to the bone for 2 weeks. You're not used to being out in that heat and using all your blah, blah, blah. So, and it was so cute because last night as we were show prepping, I don't know how you had this smart idea and you're like, Gina, what time are you going to try to be here? And I'm like, and you're like, could you please try to come an hour early because I really want to go walking and I think we should take a walk and I think we should get ourselves, you know, a lot of times we come up with these brilliant things when we're walking.
The juice is flowing.
I
feel like we have like our best recording sessions after we've gone for a walk together.
We do. And we did the cutest, y'all are going to see on social media, these cute little like videos we took.
We're so dorky and we can't wait to show you.
We cannot wait to show you. It is so cute. Like we just did the cutest like little, we're going to make it to a reel, I guess, or whatever video for social media. But I think your body that's all that it was. And let's not say your pain is back. No, your pain was there for a reason.
And so is this not the most perfect example of when a backslide isn't a backslide?
Yes.
It's just, I can just reflect on it and say, okay, I just pushed myself too hard. But as soon as I stopped doing that, here from this new higher vantage point, we can see that it wasn't actually what I thought it was.
We just had to talk through it.
We had to talk through it.
We had to talk through it, and we had to let you listen so that maybe somebody that's listening is like giving themselves permission to like, okay, not be, because you know what?
Yeah.
That was your old recording saying my pain is back. My pain is back.
Yeah.
That is your old repattern.
The anxiety is
it
back.
not?
The pain is back. Yeah.
So we struggle with different things, but it's really the same. It's the same response. And so luckily we've been able to navigate these things together because we've both been there and we both understand it on the level that we understand it. And so, like there's friends that we have, right? You can't talk to all of your friends about this kind of shit, right? Like,
no,
right. Like, like if I try
they'd
to
be like, oh my God, TMI.
Yes. Like my friends, like, girl, go journal or something. Go talk to Melanie because I don't have any. So this is why it's so special. And this is what we started our podcast. This is this right here.
Yeah.
This is the.
So let me ask you something. So, and I'm asking myself the same question. Like from here, let's use myself as the example. What would restarting without guilt or shame look like? What would revisiting the self-care without guilt or shame attached look like? And to me, what immediately pops into my mind is just what we did this morning. Like I don't know exactly what the right tools are right now, but the first impulse was, okay, at least I need to start moving again. Let's go for a walk.
Yes.
And just start there.
Yes.
Like I didn't necessarily give myself a laundry list of self-care routines to like emergency get it going again, like desperate situation, must start the self-care again, and all the intensity and pressure with that. But we can start with walks.
Yeah.
And start just like take one step.
Yes.
And I'll be interested to see with maybe some daily consistency with that, if the motivation comes back to start adding in the other things as well.
Let's see. You just got the new puppy, so you're going to be forced to take walks now.
And listen, puppy breath is one of the most healing substances on the planet.
I haven't smelled her breath yet.
Oh, it's so good.
I need to smell it before I leave.
There's something about the innocent, and maybe that's why. Maybe that's part of why I didn't necessarily feel motivated to jump back into like all the routine. Is like, this puppy and her joy and exuberance and just the innocence and everything is amazing. Every moment of every day is the best moment of every day she's ever had. There's something incredibly healing about that.
Puppy breath and baby toes. Baby toes. Did you ever smell your baby's toes when they were little? Violet's
I'm
toes?
sure that I did.
Oh, I was obsessed with my son's toes as a newborn. You know what? I probably smelled on his toes until he was.
But you've always had a feet thing, man. I remember you used to smell your old. Remember Romeo, the little poodle?
Yes.
You used to smell his feet because apparently they smelled like Fritos.
They smell like Fritos. His toes smell like Fritos.
Is that
his
a
paws.
thing that dog feet smells like Fritos?
I don't know. Why don't you check Josie's? Why don't you check Josie? I know Romeo smelled like Fritos.
Okay.
And why did I like that? Well,
You loved it.
I grew up eating Fritos with bean dip.
God.
So, oh my gosh. But no, baby toe smell.
Baby does. You know what it is for me on babies? It's the wrist chub. It's the little chubby wrist.
The part they don't have a wrist. They just have they just have
ew.
an arm and a hand. It's just and then the neck. There's no neck.
There's
it's like
just
this. It's like
and the elbow dimples is the
Ooh,
other
yeah.
thing. Ooh,
I
elbow
know.
dimples. So
I have
cute.
a picture of my son at 4 months old on my refrigerator. And it just stays there because he's laying on the bed and he's like a big he's just like a
little Michelin baby.
just like a Michelin. And I just love and you can see his little no wrist self. It's just like arm and hand.
Oh, it's so good.
So good. Anyway.
Yeah. So, I think this is very restorative for me, this conversation here. Like, I don't know that I was going into deep shame or guilt, but I think there was a little bit of like there was a little bit
Me too.
like, why did I do that to myself? I did it for the right reasons.
You did.
But like, why? Why did I do that to myself?
Because you care.
But this has been so restorative for me, and like letting go of all of that, letting go of the perfectionism, letting go of like needing the trajectory of healing to be like that. Like, this is okay.
Yeah.
The growth spiral is okay.
And you know what, too? You need to give yourself permission because you just got a new family member. And so the new family member, which is a baby, is going to be keeping you up at night. You may not want to get up at 6 for the next few weeks to do your journaling or to do your limbic work. Like, you got to give yourself a break because you have a whole new family member in the house. And
Grace and compassion.
Grace and compassion. Yeah. I think that's where we need to try to stay.
You know, before we wrap this up, I do have one question that pops that we should touch on.
Okay.
How do you know, or how do you think you would know the difference between growth spiral and legitimate backsliding, where you really are stuck in the same pattern or revisiting the same pattern and not from a higher vantage point?
How do you know?
Yeah, like, how do you think you would know?
If I would go revisit things I knew weren't healthy for me, that's easy. I mean,
feeling the exact same, like not feeling any different about it, just doing the same thing with no different perspective.
Letting myself, yes, and I can't go back now because I the perspective is different now. So, and again, I'm talking about specific, and I guess you're talking about in general backsliding.
I'm thinking more for the audience, like, of not every revisitation of an old wound is part of the growth spiral. Certainly there are people out there who do stay stuck in the pattern. So how would we tell the difference?
I mean, I would say if you're still making the same decisions that make you feel not good or not bad, bad, not making better choices and choosing to stay in that, linear and not having this ascension. I mean, I don't know.
I think if it was just repeat without obvious signs of growth, or without having a different perspective to reconnect.
I think that would be staying in the backslide, not making different choices. For me, because I'm such a emotionally driven person, just in general, I'd say that my biggest triumph in the last, year has been not letting my emotions rule my decision making. So allowing myself to feel the feelings when they come up, and it may be big, but then being able to stop without sending the text or sending the 2-paragraph text to say my thing or say my piece, or, responding to an email when I really just be quiet and not why, and so I think for me, being able to master my emotions and knowing that feelings come and go and they don't define me. It's not who I am. It's feelings come and go and they pass. And if you can sit with it, for 90 seconds, and I can't remember where I heard this from, but I don't remember.
That was me.
Was that you?
Yeah, it was like, it was a long time ago. One of our episodes, I'd come across it. We talked about it, how feelings only last 90 seconds unless you keep feeding them.
Right. But if you can, if I can sit in it, and what I've discovered, and it's not easy. It is not easy because I get all the visceral emotion, my stomach might drop. I might get heart palpitations. I might have a visceral response to my emotions, right? That's normal. But being able to wait, for me, probably even longer than 90 seconds, 5 minutes, sit with it. Is this something that do I really want to backslide? Gina, do you really want to backslide? I thought you're trying to go somewhere else with your life and with this healing journey. Now, if you want to go back, fine, but I'm able to now use the frontal cortex, the prefrontal cortex a lot more, because when you've been in trauma, you've been traumatized, and I've got several traumatizing events in my life, but you actually, this prefrontal cortex gets damaged. It truly does. It literally does. And so you're working from the back part. What is this called? The amygdala.
Yeah, it's the sort of instinctual reptilian responses.
Correct.
To things.
Fight or flight, whatever. And so having been stuck in there for so long, for so many years, now that I know what it feels like, it's going to make me emotional to not be stuck.
Yeah.
In that fight or flight is so liberating. It's so, I can't explain the feeling. I can't even really articulate how it feels to not be stuck. And another way I know that I'm healing and that I'm moving forward, Like I'm such a geek. I'm such a weirdo. I love sleep analytics. And so I wear my Apple Watch to bed, and I have an app that tells me my sleep. And so I look every morning, like it's a little give. It's like, ooh, let's see how we did. Like, what was my resting heart rate? How many hours was I in deep? And so I have had this beautiful, like, long time now where my sleep is so beautiful and so, like, well nourished. And, like, guys, if you do not get a good night's sleep, I'm telling you the power of a good 7 to 8 hours, however many your body needs. I'm between 6 and 8 and I'm good. Like 7 and 8 is beautiful. During the week, if I can get 6 to 7, chef's kiss. But
you have this data now. You have data to support your sleep cycles system. And your the heart rate variability evidence to show your healing process. In addition to, you are responding to life instead of reacting to it.
Yes.
And I have witnessed that in you certainly over the last 6 months.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's been amazing, and it feels so good to be on this side of it, because the other side is crummy and horrible. So anyway,
should we introduce the baby?
Go get the baby.
For those of you watching on video, do you guys want to see the baby?
Go get
she just walked by. Josie,
see if she'll come. Look at this girl,
baby.
Look at her. She's a star. She's already a star.
Josie, you're the best. Oh, thank you for the puppy kisses. Big yawn. Oh. This little angel, she is the most amazing little snuggle muffin.
She is a good girl.
Oh,
she's only been here, 48 hours?
Yeah, 2 days. I'm in love. I'm so in love. She's been the best puppy I think I've ever had. She is just amazing. Such a light. Oh, yes.
So now our listeners get to see Josie. And she may make more appearances.
I know. I'm very proud. I'm a proud mama right now.
You should be.
All right, guys. Anything else?
That was so good.
That was good. I feel like that was cathartic.
It was cathartic for both of us. I love it. We do this every time. We just do this every time, and it's lovely. I love you.
I love you too. High five for each other. All right, guys, this has been a wonderful episode. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, subscribe, follow, share, whatever platform you're on. Go down there and just hit the button. It's totally free. And it takes you like a second. And it's the very best way to support this show.
And comment. We love your comments. We love to engage with our listeners. So anyway, if you feel inclined.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.